This audio is translated from French from an audio recently released by a YouTube channel called La Voix des Grands Lacs.
So dufite ikibazo gikomeye cy'abantu bari infiltre muri twebwe infiltre ideologie y'amafuti mu bwoko. Iyi ideologie y'amafuti niyo yashize
Nous avons un problème sérieux de gens qui se sont infiltrés parmi nous, parmi les Banyamulenge, il veut dire. Des gens qui ont introduit une idéologie erronée ayant entraîné notre communauté.
We Banyamulenge have a serious problem with people who have infiltrated among us. They have infiltrated among us a harmful ethnic ideology. People who introduced a flawed ideology that dragged our community into chaos, and I say this in advance. Let's take a look at the history of our community and our country. In 1996, when the war started, it was we who allowed the rebels to enter the highlands to attack the Congo from the outside. We hosted them. We are involved in this war. We started it all. The other tribes kept quiet without getting involved. We continued until the seizure of power and Kabila placed us around him. He entrusted us with very important posts of ministers and in the high command of the army. We were close to Kabila. We were everywhere. And despite everything he did for us, we spoiled everything ourselves and started to create other armed groups again. This affected the Banyamulenge ethnic group and the Tutsi ethnic group throughout the country of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thousands of our soldiers died. Ordinary citizens, students, traders, and all those who lived in other regions had to flee, thus becoming refugees. They suffered extortion of their property, all because of our stupidity and our distraction. How, after all this, can we blame the Congolese government and claim that the Democratic Republic of Congo hates us? Okay, now let's go back to the period that followed the creation of the LCD. The LCD wars that took place on the roads and in the plain of Rusizi through Fizi and in all the rest of Congo caused the death of millions and millions of people, without forgetting the victims of 1996 and 1997. Thousands and thousands of Congolese have been driven from their lands and their homes have been destroyed. Many others lost their lives. When the LCD arrived, well, it was the apocalypse. After the LCD came the CMP, with these wars which started in the north with Laurent Nkunda and Mutebutsi in Bukavu. The Banyamulenge supported them, believing that they would bring us something, and when they were beaten, people followed them once again and crossed the border back to seek refuge in Rwanda. So, where did all these forces come from? All these means used for these wars? We pretended not to see that it was we who were at the origin of all these dramas, of all these wars. We did not realize that we were at the origin of the hatred and the wars which continued to sow terror in the region. Then we started other wars that bloodied the region and are still going on today. Look what is happening now. Who attacked them in North Kivu to trigger this war? How long have the Nandi been cut up there but doing nothing? The same for all other tribes of the Congo. Why do we have to think that our forces have to come from a neighboring country to come and disrupt the security of our country? What have we gained from these wars that we have waged with them for all these years? What did we get out of it? They go home, they build roads, hospitals, houses, they buy vehicles and cars. But what have we gained in all this? On the contrary, we have lost everything. The war has cost us very, very dearly. From every mouth we hear these words: we have lost a parent, we have lost a family member, we have lost, we have lost. We haven't won anything. We the Banyamulenge have not won anything. And then we are going to say it's other people who hate us. Do you believe they hate us for no reason? Do you believe they hate us for no reason? Excuse me for talking like that. I am not saying this to circumvent reality or the real problem, but it is to try to change the state of mind and the mentality of people about the insecurity and all these wars in Eastern Congo. That we must admit our share of responsibility in all these wars and assume all the consequences that fall on us. Hold on. When the Red Tabara arrived, the Red Tabara, for those who do not know it, it is a group armed by the Rwandan government, created by the Rwandan Patriotic Front in 2015. It is a group of Burundians, mostly made up of Tutsis, who had attempted a coup d'etat in Burundi in May 2015. After the failure of this coup d'etat, they took refuge in Rwanda, where Kagame received them, gave them all the means so that they rebuild themselves into a rebel army. They recruited mainly in the Burundian refugee camps in Rwanda. Once they were sufficiently equipped, President Kagame moved them to bring them to South Kivu in the highlands of Minembwe, and that's where they are. The Red Tabara is therefore a strong army, well equipped by the Rwandan army, which is also led by the officers of the Rwandan army. So when the Red Tabara arrived in our region, we welcomed them, we hid them and housed them, we accompanied them and helped them. And suddenly the Red Tabara exploded on us. It's like that hen incubating the egg of a serpent. The Red Tabara for us is like this hen who brooded the egg of a snake. So we literally incubated them, and then they ravaged our cities, killed our cows, and looted the properties of our people. We then turned around saying that we have nothing against Red Tabara, who nevertheless massacres us, loots and kills our cows. We said that we have nothing against Red Tabara, who nevertheless massacres us, but on the other hand, we accuse the government who does not protect us. How to explain that you come to kill me and kill mine, and instead of getting angry with you, I put my misfortunes on the one I accuse of not having protected me. They want to say they have nothing against Red Tabara, whom they continue to help, as he massacres them, but they accuse the Congolese government of not protecting them enough against Red Tabara, whom they have introduced into their area, and to whom they gave all the assistance that was necessary to enable him to settle in the highlands. We therefore accuse the government of not intervening when Red Tabara kills us, when it is our own Tutsi brothers who massacre us. I insist on it. We accuse the government of not intervening when Red Tabara kills us, when it is our own Tutsi brothers who massacre us. After having killed ours, they say that we are not sufficiently mobilized on their side. So who is killing us? Who is killing us if not our own Tutsi brothers from Red Tabara? The Red Tabara who kills people there are Tutsi, and they will say that Tutsi suffer injustices by pointing to the Congolese government. So where does this injustice come from? What do I mean? I say that the problem we have in Eastern Congo, we must find a solution after having thought about it. Let me ask you another question. Were we the ones who went to ask for Rwanda's support? Is it the M23 who went to ask for the support of Rwanda to obtain its help? In principle, when you need someone, it is you who must take the lead in seeking his help. But when someone who protects you offers help that you didn't even think of, it means that in reality you are fighting for the interests of the other person, but not for your own interests. We have seen it in all the past wars that we have known. If it was really to meet our needs and our expectations, can you show me an agreement, a convention, between the Banyamulenge who say they have suffered injustices and Rwanda who is supposed to help them? Regarding the balkanization supposedly to help us have our country apart, our own country, can you show me an agreement stipulating what we will pay at the end of the war to those who are supposed to help us create a country of our own? In summary, we run without thinking too much and without knowing where we are going, as if to answer a whistle. No, we must not continue to live in this way. We must first sit down and ask ourselves if it is really necessary or not, then find a solution. I didn't say we never have problems, but all the tribes in the Congo have had the problems, like the Baluba and the other tribes that have had the problems. For example, under the Mobutu regime and under other regimes that followed, the people who were affected were all Congolese in general, because, as I told you, there have been more than 12 million deaths in the Congo, and of all these millions, there is not even a million Banyamulenge and Tutsi victims of these wars. This means that we have all been affected by these wars in the same way. Moreover, during Mobutu's time, I said it well, we the Banyamulenge did not have any problems. It was only after what happened in Gatoki, when people were arrested because we had just noticed that there were infiltrations in progress and that people were crossing from Rwanda to South Kivu to the war. This is when the governors of the provinces started declaring that they were going to drive out the Banyamulenge, and the problems with Kabila started. This angry reaction followed the feeling that the Banyamulenge had betrayed and brought the enemy into our country. This is the root of all our current problems. This is exactly what the M23 is doing today over there in North Kivu, with consequences. The burning of our houses, the destruction of homes, citizens, and the massacre of populations. For example, who gave them land in Goma and permission to build churches there? Was it before that they didn't pray like everyone else without a problem? Like all the others, they passed and still pass the streets without problem. What happens is that all the actions that we create or that we carry out to incite people cause consequences, and then we will start complaining about these consequences as if we were the victims. Yes, it's true, we are victims because the person whose house was destroyed or the one who is killed has no part in what happened to them. And what happened to him is the consequence of what our own brothers have caused, and which should not be. I personally do not support and I condemn such actions. The state must know how to solve all these problems and how to compensate all the victims of these problems, because the security organs are there to watch over the security of all citizens. In a few words, I often say that there were problems under Mobutu, as there are today, and that they will be there under other regimes to come. Even if we name Kagame at the head of the Democratic Republic of Congo, there will still be the same problems, because even in Rwanda, there are many problems. People are dying every day there. So in fact, nothing would change.